today's podcast is FoodShred Productions' first episode. We got Chris Clemenza, artist manager. Let's get right into it. I have friends with varying levels of education that have started businesses with and without money. I want to focus on how diverse upbringings lead to them being successful entrepreneurs. We're going to kick it over with Chris for an introduction. Chris, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and what your businesses are and how you got started?
Yeah, I'd love to. So basically, I started at the age of 14 doing artist management and artist development. I kind of just had a dream when I was in high school. My buddy Standard was rapping early on, and he wanted to be a rapper, and we were just kids at the time, and I was like, this is my bro, so I was like, I'm definitely going to help you out. If you want to take that career choice, like, I'm going to do something. Then I started doing the manager tip, and kind of just went uphill ever since there. Started off slow and kind of progressed over the years.
Chris, before you got into the music scene, what were you doing?
So I had one job ever. I had one job before music ever, and it was delivering pizza at Gianni's. Shout out Gianni's. Fire pizzeria my uncle owns. There's I believe, 10 locations now, if we're including Lupo, too. So shout out Uncle Andy. Pizza, first job, pizza delivery. Can't look back.
Yeah, bro, and that's where we met, too. We were hustling over at Gianni's. For those of you that don't know, Gianni's is a pizzeria local in New Jersey. A lot of good people that we work with over there, a lot of hustlers, people that were grinding, entrepreneurial mindset kind of people, scraping for $1. A lot of people that I know that I worked at Gianni's have branched out and started successful endeavors on their own. So that's kind of where it started for me and you. And I know, for example, when you first started at Gianni's, when we were there together, you were talking about going to these shows in New York, the Underachievers. Can you tell us a little bit about how that started and how that came about and how that influenced you getting into the music scene?
Yeah, so funny enough, the Underachievers I loved. I still love, of course, but growing up, that was my favorite rap group for sure. Shout out AK and Issa. And I just started off listening to their music as a kid, and I had no involvement with the industry yet, really. I was kind of just, tuning in, going to the shows, but that made me fall in love with hip-hop so much. Now, to this day, I could just call AK on the phone. That's my bro. We still work together. I never really developed a relationship with Issa, but I met him a few times. But AK really became my friend, AK from the Underachievers. If the listeners aren't familiar, he's one of the two out of the dynamic rap group. But we became very close in about 2018, 2017. He saw the love I was showing, going to the shows. And then I actually linked up him and Squid Nice when I started managing Squid Nice in 2017. I linked up him and AK, and they made a song called Stop. They have two songs. Stop That was one of them, but the first one, I believe, I can't think of the name, but it's out there if you guys heard it. So, yeah, I love AK. Great dude. Shout out AK, Underachievers, man. Love them forever.
Yeah, so what that kind of reminds me of, one time, this was back in the spring of 2014, I went to one of the water events. Joey Badass and Pro Era were running that. And I actually got to meet Dirty Sanchez. I dapped up Dirty Sanchez. I dapped up Kirk Knight. When we got there, me and my boy Thomas Dugan, we went over there. And they actually had shut down the whole event. They had police over there. They shut down the event. And we saw the Pro Era crew walking in the street. And this kind of reminded me of your kind of starting point with the Underachievers, getting exposure, meeting those people over there, going to those events and kind of getting a live look at what it's like to be in that industry. So I thought that was a really cool thing that you were doing, and the passion that you were showing when we were at Gianni's talking about this stuff was just unreal. I could tell at the time that you had a true passion for this and that you were going to, do something with that. And it's just incredible to see how far you've come since then. One thing I do another topic I want to talk about here is Young King Dave, shout out YKD. What was it like working with Dave early on? How did you guys meet? And what did you guys accomplish together?
So before getting started with Dave, I just want to say I appreciate that a lot, because the passion going into this was kind of what got me so far, just having such a love for music and turning it into my full-time job. I always had a feeling I could do it, but I didn't think it would happen this fast, to be honest. So I'm just forever grateful and blessed for the opportunities I have, because I remember sitting in Gianni's with you, just showing showing people, whoever, just I loved the music so much that I had no involvement, but I still wanted everyone to hear the new song or whatever. So I took my passion to that and just turned it into a business, basically. But yeah, back to Dave, man. Dave was really the first person with notoriety to believe in me and help take my craft to the next level. Rest in peace to Dave. Great friend of mine. We grew up together. We went to the same middle school. We were in the same high school for a little bit, but he was getting transferred and stuff like that. But he was the first one to really take me seriously, who already had an established fan base, whether it was just for being an influencer or whatever. Everyone around here knew that Dave had a huge following, so it was very cool to see us work together because we were really the only two people from the town at the time doing what we were doing and seeing success. So shout out to Dave, man. He's forever in my heart. Great dude. We're actually looking at him right now. There's a picture on the wall right up there. So
Yep.
Shout out Dave, man. Forever in my heart. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for him. It would have never made it this far. I would have never met the people. It would have never got to where it is. So thank you, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. That Mask Off Doink Mix, 700,000 views. Like, that was incredible. And, like, obviously the Amish video went viral. Really,
All completely organic, by the way, for people who don't know. Dave never had any real type of record deal or management. I was the closest thing to a manager he even had. And at the time, I was still just learning. I was a kid. So, I guided him the best I can. But I think if Dave had the proper management team at the time, he would have been Drewski level. Now, are you familiar with Drewski? Not to go off topic. Yeah, I think he would have easily taken that lane and been that big by now. So rest in peace to my brother Dave, man.
Absolutely, bro. Thanks for sharing all that. I really appreciate it. It's very unique that you and Dave had the chance to work together and see him get famous like that. Was really big for our area in New Jersey, for Monmouth County. Shout out Monmouth County. Another thing I want to kind of talk about is, when all these listeners out there coming from various levels of education with a dream to start a business, right? So can you tell me a bit, Chris, about your education? Did you go to college after you graduated high school?
So I went to the University of Westchester for 2 years, and this leads to a good spiral of for my music industry. So I went there. Basically, just, graduating high school, everyone kind of was going on to the next chapter of their life, going to work or going to school, whatever the case may be. I was getting started with the music stuff, so I wasn't crazy about going to school, but it was what my pops wanted me to do. So I told him I'm going to give it a shot. And while down there at Westchester, I started going to Philadelphia a lot because it was like a 30-minute drive from PA right to Philly. And that's when I met my brother, Matt Ox. So if it wasn't for me being in Westchester, listening to my pops just to get the education, even though it had nothing to do with the music at the time, I would have never met Matt. And Matt played a huge role in my upbringing as well. He was one of the first few stars to take me seriously. For the people who aren't familiar with Matt Ox, I'm not sure if it's platinum or diamond. He has the record with him and XXXTentacion, but it's multiple times platinum or diamond. Don't quote me, but you guys could look it up. So, yeah, Matt's definitely a star, and he's only 18 now. When we met, he was about 12.
Cool. And going into, like, when you were first kind of kicking this off a little bit, like when you were first doing some advertising for your personal brand, I remember I was in New York City at the time. I was working in a sales job, doing cold calls, and I was on social media. I saw that all of a sudden you had a Times Square billboard right in the middle of Times Square in New York City. It was incredible. I was like, wow, this guy is literally in the middle of the most popular, heavily foot traffic spot in the entire world. How did you make that possible, bro?
So basically, the Times Square billboard was a huge stepping stone. That allowed me to gain a lot of revenue from just building up ad money. Basically, I just got cool with a couple sign owners that I met online and just took it to the next level and used my third-party selling skills to kind of just sell the billboard. It started off me just using it for my personal promotional value and putting my brand up there, but then I took it to the next level, and I successfully sold about 35 billboards, and They roughly cost about $5,000 each. Obviously, deals depend on the duration and everything, but if anyone was ever wondering and wants a billboard, we could take care of you. So, yeah.
Shout out Chris getting on that billboard there. So was this before Nice Entertainment LLC was started, or was this after the billboard?
So Nice Entertainment LLC was formed, I believe, in 2018. About a year after I met Squid, we made the LLC. And it was me, Squid Nice, Bobby Nice, and Smack Nice, who I still love all of them to death. We just don't work as closely anymore. And Nice Entertainment LLC is actually not an LLC anymore. It's now Clemenza Records. But Nice Entertainment will forever play a huge part of my upbringing and my career as well. And I'm hoping one day we could all get back together, bring the boys back together and go crazy. Shout out Squid, shout out Bobby, shout out Smack. Love you guys.
Yeah, bro. So Clemenza Records, that's what you're working on now. Can you tell us a little bit, Chris, about your daily routine, what you do when you wake up, what's your usual day like? Tell us a little bit about the day in the life of Chris Clemenza.
So basically, I'm very simple. Besides the music stuff, my schedule is either very sporadic or I'm kind of just chilling. So start my day, wake up, a cup of coffee, check the emails, check the Instagram accounts, check everything, make sure none of my clients need anything. Then I'll get my day started, go to the gym. While I'm at the gym, I'll configure what's going on for the day, whether it be studio sessions or client car bookings with me and my partner, Chris's company, Lux Transport. And shout out to the studio, too, Lux Sound Studios with my partner, Quattro. But basically just in a day is kind of seeing what I could bring. Every day is different, so I guess let's use today as an example. Woke up, went to the gym, got a haircut. Shout out Neil the barber. Now I'm doing this podcast, so after this, I'm going straight to New York to link up with AB. I set up a commercial deal with a barber, Neil the barber, who I just referred. He's going to meet me in Manhattan, and him and AB are going to shoot a little interview-based commercial. So that's probably a good idea of in the day, you know?
Yeah, bro, and that's incredible working with Antonio Brown, 15 million Instagram followers. What's it like working together?
So AB is the most humble person I've ever met thus far in the industry. And a lot of people ask me, like, yo, what's up with AB, this and that. I saw this blog post him, and it's usually the blogs are posting negative things. But so people will ask me this stuff all the time, like, what's up with your boy, this and that. And I have to literally explain to them that the press 99% of the time is just trying to tarnish the image and just say something that's not even true. People don't fact check anything. So AB taught me that publicity is still great publicity, and let them say whatever they want. Let people believe whatever they want. We know we're good people. We do good business. So shout out to AB. He really was the final stepping stone in my career to take it from C or B list celebrities all the way to an A-list celebrity, and just full-time, like, changing my position as a manager and taking me to a whole nother pedestal of seriousness with just dealing with different people. So shout out AB. He changed my life forever.
Amazing, bro. So what I want to know is, you know, how'd you branch out on your own, and what were some of the biggest challenges of doing this, getting to where you are now?
So in the beginning, I would say it was just, I wasn't even really focused on myself as a manager. I was more focused on, okay, I have to have this artist go crazy, but in order for them to do all this stuff, I needed to position myself higher and get them new opportunities. But I learned if the artist doesn't want to help themselves, you can't really help them. So that doesn't mean everyone's got to be the biggest in the world, but if you don't have a decent fan base, there's nothing I could really help sell. Like, I'm a basically just middlemaning services and verses and all types of things for artists. So if you're an artist and you don't have much of a fan base yet, you can't blame the manager for the business not to be booming. And I feel like that's what a lot of artists get twisted now. You need to get a solid fan base, whether you have 10, 50 fans, 100 fans, 1,000 fans. We're selling them something technically. So you need to make them love you. You got to stand out. That's what a lot of artists are missing nowadays. They got to take it back to the basics and not be so worried about this Instagram shit and just make a hit.
Completely. It's not all about like clout necessarily, but it's about having a plan, right? Like
They
having a
forget about
structured
that
plan.
it's music, that it's not, oh, I want to look cool on Instagram and have 1 million likes. That's not why they know you, bro. They know you for a song. So I feel like, not on no hate and shit, but like artists gotta stop worrying so much about the online Instagram persona and posting every day. Like, that's how you lose fans, honestly, because every time you post some ass backwards shit that has nothing to do with like the album you're dropping or anything, the fans don't give a shit.
How are you finding the right people to work with that match your style?
So basically, I wouldn't even say I'm finding people. I've never reached out to an artist a day in my life before, like before I had a name for myself. So obviously early on I was reaching out like, yo, check me out, work with me, I'm a manager. But nowadays I like humbly I don't reach out to anyone. It's usually them reaching out to me, and we'll just explain what we could bring to the table, and if it works, it works. But like I mentioned before, a lot of artists want me to represent them, but they have nothing to offer me. So at the end of the day, I offer paid management. Like, you don't have to be Jay-Z and for me to manage you. It doesn't matter. You could be a local kid putting in the same work, but I'm not going to offer the same services I do for like AB or someone like that, because it's just a different playing field. But I offer shadow management for like $3,500 a month. So I would full-time manage the artists, and they get a day in the life of being represented by me, which comes with all the perks, being who I'm around, studio, car service. But basically, I'm not really looking for any talent. I'm looking for people who want to win. So it's like, I don't know. It's kind of an intricate thing. It's not like I'm out here hunting to make $1 off an artist. I want someone who really wants to take this shit to the moon, like make it a full-time thing, everything, not just fucking make a few dollars with me and that's it. It's deeper than the money sometimes. It's about the whole brand.
That's great, bro. So what I want to know as well, let's kind of rewind this back to the start a little bit more. So when you're first getting like in this game, in the music industry, starting your business, what experiences and knowledge prepared you to really like start your empire?
So basically, I would say just going to shows early on and seeing how these artists were just loved by fans and everything was so genuine, and that they're getting paid to do exactly what they want to do. As like coming from a music lover like me, like I just knew it was what I wanted to do. Like I loved music so much that I'm like, what am I gonna just listen to this shit all day and have no involvement? Like, it seemed like I was putting too much time into it. Like you referred before, back when we were at Gianni's, like how I had so much passion just when I was even talking about it. I knew I had to take that passion and put it to the table and turn it into a career.
So was there something specific, like what caused you to pursue entrepreneurship at the time?
I wouldn't say there's like a specific moment. I just knew I didn't want to work for someone for the rest of my life. I didn't want to work for anyone at all. Like, I love waking up every day, making my own schedule. I base every day off how I'm feeling. Like, if I want to do this, I do this. If I don't want to work today, I don't work today. I like being in control of my own life. I feel like the 9-to-5 route is cool, but I think it's really like slave shit at the end of the day. Like, I don't think anyone should be completely locked in like that, working every day forever with no chance of improving or anything besides like a little pay increase or decrease. Like, you're kind of just in a circle, just, waiting to work, and like, I don't know, the idea of there being no way to really go up in some jobs, like, that turned me off completely. And I knew if I was working for myself, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and, when you're working for somebody else, they tell you what to do. You don't always get a lot of fulfillment out of that, right? There's only so much you can really take away from creating someone else's project, right? Lining someone else's pockets. But you're the one that's kind of going out there doing it on your own. How does it feel being successful off your own ideas, Chris?
It's the best feeling in the entire world. Sometimes I'll just really, like, sit back and just be so grateful that I continued with this path early on, because it was awful in the beginning. Like, I was dead broke, like 17, 18, running around the hood in Staten Island, Brooklyn with Squid, and doing all this shit that, to the eyes of people who didn't see the final end goal and mission, like, they probably thought I was insane. Like, I dropped out of college to chill with hood rappers essentially, because that's how they viewed it, but they didn't know that they were talented musicians. And you know, like it's just a very intricate thing, the music industry, because a lot of people growing up, especially where I'm from Monmouth County, New Jersey, it's not really a common thing that people manage hip-hop artists, or like there's any hip-hop artists over here now. I feel like I really set the tone, and now there's a lot more rappers over here in this area. Shout out to my boy Standard again too, random thought, but he was really one of the first few people over here who was rapping before it was cool, back when it was like embarrassing, like people like, you know, people were looking at it like, what's this kid doing? But now they're not looking at it like that, and that just comes with the years of hard work. So shout out to my bro Standard. He just dropped the album. Go tune into that when you get a chance.
Great stuff, dude. Really good stuff. So you made it this far, right? You have all these famous rappers that you're working with: AB, Squid Nice, Smack Nice, Bobby Nice. You've worked with Young King Dave early on. When you reach these goals, when you achieve success initially, like, what did it feel like for you?
Initially, it just felt like a dream come true. It still does, because who wouldn't want to wake up and do what they love every day? I used to wake up and go to pay and see artists at a concert. Now I'm the one getting paid, and I'm still at this concert backstage, and the artists become my friends. So when you really break it down, it's even more mind-blowing to me. Like, people who I once looked up as just like a famous artist or whatever the case may be, who is now just like a homie of mine, and I look at them as a completely normal person. I look at everyone as equal. Like, I don't put anyone on a pedestal, but I remember really being young and thinking it was like impossible to get next to these guys who I could just call on a random day now. So it's really a cool feeling.
So far, Chris, what would you say some of your biggest accomplishments are?
I would say biggest accomplishment is just linking up with AB and not fumbling that opportunity, because my homie Kim from Hot 97, shout out Kim Coco, she played a huge role. A lot of people ask me, like, how did you meet AB? So, Kim, I'm giving you your flowers right now. I was actually at a Hot 97 interview with Bobby Nice in 2019. I met this awesome lady, Kim, who I'm still a very close friend of mine. One day she called me randomly. We would always call each other back and forth, selling like different, not always just selling, whatever, like lining stuff up for artists, doing stuff entrepreneurs do in the music business, trying to make each other some money. So one day she called me and told me she had a really big client who wanted a billboard. And I was like, all right, Kim, let's do it. Just let me know. And she kept calling me, and I don't forget what I was doing. I was just at home. I was like, yo, I'll call you in the morning. She was like, no, you got to answer now. I got a big client. So I randomly hop on the FaceTime, and it's just AB smiling. Me, Kim, and AB on the phone. And ever since that day, AB was calling to get a billboard. So Kim called me because she knew I could get the Times Square billboard, and she put the pieces together. And that was the first initial link up for me and AB, was because I got him a billboard. And then from that day forward, I just started handling side bookings from him with the music stuff, promotional bookings, basically any type of booking. So, yeah, shout out AB, shout out Kim.
Cool, bro. What are some of the projects that you're working on now, Chris?
Right now, I'm not working on a specific project besides helping AB put his album together. He was just in the studio with Favi a few weeks ago. They got some songs. He's got a lot of awesome work. I can't wait for everyone to hear. I can't say too much, but expect some new music from AB and Fabio. They already got 2 songs together on AB's debut album, Paradigm. But definitely be on the lookout for the next album. I'm not sure the name yet. We were just talking today. That's why I'm going to the city. We're going to start putting this album together. But as far as my own personal project is just always making the studio better, trying to upgrade my personal brand, and think of the next move. I might put together another project too. For those who don't know, I executive produced a body of work in 2021 called Nothing to Prove, featuring Lil Zay Osama, Lil B, Squid Nice, Amaru Cloud, Jay Guapo, TJ3K, and many more. Off the top of the head, I don't know if I mentioned. And shout out Big Tone, my brother Big Tone's on that too. Yeah, man.
Yeah, bro. How's that project been going for you so far? Nothing to prove EP.
So just for an initial project drop, my first executive produced album ever with no promotion, I kind of just uploaded it to Spotify. It's doing good. I think it's got like 100,000 streams collectively, but I wasn't even really doing it to get all the streams and make all the money. I just wanted to take who I work with and bring it to life, because the whole EP is artists that I've worked close with over the years, so I kind of just wanted to have them all work together. Like, me and Jay Guapo, who were working very closely at the time, it was cool to see him and TJ3K make a track and just kind of get artists working with each other and just put a body of work together that you would never see unless it was from a label or the artist personally. I just thought it was a cool thing, kind of like what DJ Khaled does, if people aren't familiar. That's what executive producing is.
So XXL, American Hip Hop Magazine, published by Town Square Media in 1997. What's your involvement with them? What'd you do with XXL?
So I got to shout out Squid on this one. I had no specific involvement with Double XL personally, besides bringing Squid there. The Double XL team wanted Squid to lay down a freestyle and do a pitch for the freshman list. So that's how I got to go. Squid brought me, so big shout out to Squid. That was my first time going to Double XL in 2019. It was a very cool experience. So, yeah, shout out to Squid. Shout out to Double XL.
And Rolling Loud was established in 2015. 210,000 people attended in Miami in 2019. Complex Network says one of the biggest festivals in the world. What was your involvement with Rolling Loud?
So just like how we were talking about the underachievers, my first Rolling Loud, I kind of just went out there as a fan. I was in my very beginning phase of a manager, probably like my first year, and I just loved the music. So me and my buddy Blake and my buddy Joey Bruno, who actually passed away 3 weeks ago. So I want to give a big rest in peace to Joey, because he played a big involvement with this first link up too. Him, and Blake went to our first Rolling Loud together, and I met a lot of people down there. But it was basically it wasn't really in my career yet. I was kind of just going to enjoy the festival. But that was the only time I ever bought a ticket. I believe it was 2015. And then every year after that, I've been given artist passes just off, like, from Tarek, one of the co-owners, or just in general, like, Squid got booked for NYC Rolling Loud, so I was there. Or Matt Ox brought me to Rolling Loud, and he brought me and Squid to the Florida one in 2019. So basically, it was crazy because I told my buddy Blake at the time, I remember an exact moment. We were standing just in the crowd watching, I think it was either A$AP Rocky or it was Flatbush perform, Flatbush Zombies. And I told him, like, yo, bro, I promise, like, somehow I'm going to get us in this shit. Like, this is going to be the first and last time we ever buy tickets to this shit. And the year after that, I was in Miami Rolling Loud with full access artist passes. I took That Dude and Standard. Shout out my buddy That Dude. His name's Ron. He's an influencer as well. I didn't really get to talk about, but he was one of the first few people I managed. He was a cannabis influencer. He was right after Dave. And Ron and Dave introduced me to Ron. So give a big shout out to Dave again. And shout out to Ron. I miss you, Brody. You already know what's up. All love.
So what makes you a true entrepreneur, Chris, is you have your hands in all different facets of business, right? You have your record company, you have your studio that you linked up, you have your transportation company. You also started a clothing company, Nice Clothing. Can you tell us a little bit about how Nice Clothing started and what happened with it, how it's going?
So basically, I just knew Squid needed a line of merch, and as far as the whole label, we had Nice Entertainment. This is when we had Nice Entertainment Studios before Lux Sound Studios. It was Nice Entertainment Studios. I built the studio specifically for the boys, and I just wanted us to have a professional merch line too. So I came out with the sweatsuits. They were very successful. I sold over 300 sweatsuits, and that was all I had. Like I only placed an order for 300, and we sold all 300 in about a month. And we just never did another line because the label I don't want to say fell apart, but we all went our own ways, you know? So that was kind of just a one-time thing, and it was very successful. I'm looking to launch some merch in the future, possibly either like some Clemenza records or just a different brand that I come up with or something. So definitely be on the lookout for the merch.
Yeah, keep an eye on that. When this stuff drops, you're going to want to get your hands on that merch. And also, new hip-hop updates, 93,000 followers on Instagram. How'd you start that? How's it going now?
I'm glad you asked, because a lot of people don't know I'm actually the owner of that company, because I kind of kept it discreet, not for any reason, but I don't know. It was just kind of a cool thing. But now it's definitely, I have it in my bio, so it's out there that I'm the owner. We also have a YouTube channel with 25,000 subs. Don't quote me, maybe like 23, but I think we're almost at 25. The Instagram's got 93K followers, and we also have a website, a blog. So I started with it because I was getting press. A lot of magazines were reaching out to me, and they wanted to give me free press. And I saw that press was a big thing in the industry, and that artists needed it to become verified. This was pre-bought verification days, before any goober could just buy the subscription. This is the real verification. Articles were used to get you verified. And I realized that early on, so I made my own blogs. New Hip Hop Update is only one of 6 that I own. I also own New Hip Hop Updates, Rap Archives, Weekly Media Source, Top Topic Magazine. There's a bunch of them out there, because I knew that you needed press to be verified, and I knew that there was a high demand for that. So I started selling press, and I started off by third-partying press sales to like Lyrical Lemonade, This Is 50, and other big platforms. And I said, hey, why am I paying these guys? Like, back to the 9-to-5 shit. I'm going to just start my own.
Absolutely, bro. Just another sign of, the most multiple facets of entrepreneurial attitude that you have, and that what you bring to the table with all these different brands, all these different people that you work with. It's really amazing, and it's really inspiring. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners out there, you're thinking the same exact thing. All these different aspects of business, all these ideas, not just content with one business, one idea, but really just like pushing your level, like expansion, and, going and fulfilling your maximum potential. It's super inspiring. And one thing I kind of want to get into, because all entrepreneurs, they hit a point where they might hit a wall. Maybe they face a specific challenge where something didn't go as expected, and failure's a part of success ultimately. So can you tell us a bit about a time where you might have failed and how that impacted you and how you recovered from that?
So coming up early in my career, I wouldn't say like specifically like any situations of failing, but just getting very discouraged early on, not being where I wanted to be, and just like my Instagram wasn't always booming. Like, basically just getting to where I wanted to be and where I am now. I was never truly discouraged though, because I knew it was coming. I knew that this was going to be the outcome, and so I just knew never to give up. Even if there was a little hiccup or something, there's really nothing specific I could think of. But moral of the story, just never give up and keep going and turn your dreams to reality, because I did it myself, and I want to just tell you that it's possible. And don't listen. It's not always the best to listen to the people around you. They may want the best for you, but they may want what they think is the best for you.
Bro, what would you say are some of what's some of the advice that you would give to anyone interested in doing what you do?
My advice would be to literally just go with your gut. Like, any move that you think makes sense and could benefit your career, just do it. Take that 2-hour car ride to go to the show and stand outside in the line for a chance to run into whoever. Do that, because what else are you doing? Like, if you have nothing going on, that's like, it's just always a chance for an opportunity in this business. So you just got to put yourself around people who are already in it any way you can. So my best advice is, whether you're a manager, a producer, or an artist, make yourself a resource to the people above you. So like how AB needed a billboard, I made myself resourceful and got him a billboard. So if you don't have anything to bring to the table, they're just going to look right past you. That's how it is. You got people don't want to just include you.
Right. You have to be able to put yourself out there to get the traction that you want for your own personal brand, and you really do that well. So that's what I think ultimately has like gotten you to where you are today, is like consistently putting yourself out there into situations that might be uncomfortable but offer a lot of growth, right? What I also want to know is, besides the billboards that you mentioned, what are some other techniques that you use to promote your business?
So some other techniques that went hand in hand, I would say, is just the studio and the driving service directly, because as an early artist manager, I'm 24 now, but I'm talking when I was like 17 and 18, early on with Squid, I saw a lot of the things that were needed in an artist. Like Squid was always needing like an escalator, like so studio session, not even just Squid, any artist I was working with, what they needed most was studio time and transportation. So I took that and turn it into my own stuff. I'm like, yo, if we're constantly doing this, I'm constantly paying people for studio time and to drive us around. Why not turn it into my own business? And now a perk of being one of my artists, you get a studio and you get a driver. You know what I mean? Like, you got to make yourself resourceful and make yourself have what other people don't. You got to stand out, or else people are just going to walk right past you.
So true, bro. What are some of your plans for the future?
I take it day by day, man. I didn't plan to get this far fully, so it's hard to kind of keep planning as in a music aspect. But I want to take all this success and money from my career and take it to other fields as well. Like maybe open a restaurant, or like me and Joey were saying, maybe a food truck. Like just something aside from music, because I know I'm successful in this field, so it might sound crazy, like why wouldn't you just do another music venture? But who knows how successful I could be in the other fields as well.
True. Super inspiring, bro. The way that you just like naturally, flow through all these different business ideas is just really inspiring, and I'm sure all the young listeners out there are just like super excited about these different areas of business that you're in, to really influence them to start their own business. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. This concludes the first episode of FoodShred Productions Business Dreamers podcast. Chris Clemenza, thank you very much for coming out.
My brother, I really appreciate you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. I want to give a big shout out to my brother Joey with FoodShred Productions Business Dreamers, the podcast. This is officially the first episode, and I think you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of me. Me and Joey have been talking, looking at making me one of the main partners in the podcast. So we'll keep you guys posted. Just keep listening. Thank you guys. Everyone enjoy your day. Love you guys.
Peace, fam.